If you've wondered how you can fit one more thing into your cram schedule, well, this video may be for you. Today we're going to be talking about zero-based time management and how you can use it to do things in your life that are essential for your future. Coming up next. Hi everybody, my name is Dee Burks and this is Retirement Rescue, where we talk about how to make money, save money, and create a retirement from nothing. Well, one of the things that holds people back from creating that future for themselves is the fact that they feel like every minute of every day is already accounted for. How can they possibly fit in one more thing? Now, I agree that we are inundated with this idea of hustle culture. We've got to be going and doing and busy and oh my gosh, we've got to have side hustles and extra businesses and do this and do this and do this. And we're just exhausted. Well, the idea of zero-based time management can really help you stop feeling so exhausted and make room in your life for things that are really important. Now, I did a video a while back on zero-based budgeting, and this is the same idea but with time. Instead of using something like time blocks and slotting in your various activities, when you go to zero-based time management, that means you evaluate first everywhere you're spending your time. How much time are you really spending on social media? How much time are you really spending in front of the television? How much time are you really spending going to and from work or to and from here or there, running errands, getting groceries? How much time is that taking? When you think about your time, you have to know where you're really spending it. There are many people who have trouble managing their time to begin with. They're late everywhere. They overcommit. They think they can do more things than they can. And it really causes problems, not only for them, but for everyone else in their life. Well, understanding where you're spending your time and how much time it actually takes you to do certain tasks is one of your first steps to alleviating that crush of responsibilities and things you feel like you have to do. Now, when you really think about time, it is one of the things that people significantly underestimate in their lives as far as value. Time is one of the things we can never get back once we use it, and none of us knows how much time we have. I mean, truly, it is our most valuable commodity, the most valuable thing we have, but we don't pay near enough attention to it. I think so many of us, especially Gen Xers, but a lot of people were raised with the idea if you're not doing something all the time, you're not productive. You know, there's no such thing as downtime. That's selfish. Why would you ever want downtime? Well, honestly, that's a bit crazy. We need downtime. Human beings are not robots. We were not made to go, 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 go. And when we do, we get mentally and then physically exhausted. Some people, especially those people who have children or who have very stressful jobs, live in this state of perpetual exhaustion. They're overextended on their time. And when you look at it as the most precious thing you have, you start to realize it's worth protecting. So in a zero-based time budget, you start with, number one, where are you spending your time? And number two, you make a list. What are the most important things I want to be spending my time on? You know, there are so many times some of us who just think we're super people, and I am in this category, I hate to admit. I will make a to-do list a mile long and think, well, I'll get that done on Monday, and then on Tuesday, yeah, no, I couldn't get it done in a month, let alone on Monday. And so I end up having this perpetual list of to do. And it's really easy, if you're that kind of person, to shortchange your downtime, to shortchange your sleep, which is a big one. A lot of us think, well, I'll just sleep less. I'll get up early the next day and start, so I can get more done. And we live our lives like this. It's like kind of like the whole idea of daylight savings time. If we cut an hour off here and we add an hour here, we'll have more time. No, we don't. We have the same amount of time. And we fool ourselves into thinking we can do all this stuff. A lot of which doesn't even need doing. Or doesn't need doing in the way we're currently doing it. But we don't even have time to stop and think about, what am I doing here? We're not allowing ourselves that time to think and evaluate and prioritize. And those are essential. So when you're doing a time-based management system for your life, you've got to prioritize what do you really want. You've got to decide, what am I doing that's a waste of my time and mental energy? What am I not doing that I'm missing in my life? Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's getting out into nature. Maybe it's having time to go see friends or family. What are you missing out on? This can really show up if you are doing anything creative. If you're an artist, if you're a writer, if you are a business person and you're needing to come up with new products or new markets, sometimes you get so mentally scattered you cannot focus on anything. And that's the real problem. When we try to do too much, we do nothing effectively. We are terrible at everything, even though we convince ourselves it's okay, I'll get it all done. No, you're getting it done terribly. It would be better not to do something than to do it badly and feel bad about it. So make a list. That's the first thing. Make a list. What are you doing now? Where are you spending your time? What is adding value? I think a lot of people have decided that social media is not adding value to their lives. And they're spending less and less time on it. And that's a good thing. I mean, how many times have you sat down and think, oh, I'll just scroll through a couple things. And you look up and it's an hour and a half later. Not a good use of your time or mental energy at all. The same thing can be true if you have overcommitted yourself to volunteer opportunities. Maybe you love to volunteer, and honestly, every organization is a good cause. No question about that. So that's not in question. But there are a lot of people who think that if they're not constantly out there volunteering and doing all these things, that they're being selfish. And that's not true. You can't give your best to anyone or anything if you do not take time to relax and allow your mind to rest and really think about what's important. This is also true of family commitments. I mean, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Sometimes we have families that can take up way too much of our time and they just expect to be able to. That is very difficult to navigate, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy. It's not. For those of you who are grandparents, I cannot tell you how many grandparents I talk to that live close to their grandchildren, and somehow they've almost become substitute parents, not necessarily of their own choosing, but they were there, and because they were semi-retired or completely retired, their kids perceive they're doing nothing and bring the kids over all the time. It is very difficult to navigate that situation. You still have to carve out time for you. You can't have all of your hours taken after work, or if you're already retired, all of your hours on the weekends or whatever taken because someone else assumes you're doing nothing and you can do something. You have to be able to stand up for yourself and to protect your own time. Even if that means, in someone else's estimation, you truly are doing nothing. I cannot tell you the number of times someone has said to me, well, how can you go fishing? There's this to do. There's that to do. There's what? I love to go fishing because, number one, I get no cell service. It's awesome. No cell service. No one can interrupt my fishing time. And fishing is one of those activities that is somewhat mindless. So it allows your mind to think. And I need that time to think. I do a lot of creative things, and when I get to the point where I have not allowed myself time away where I can think, the well dries up. I mean dries up. I can't even think of an article to write. I can't even think of something to paint on a canvas. I am like dry. And that happens to a lot of people. It happens to you when you're working all the time. There are a lot of people, especially people in their 50s and early 60s, who are at the pinnacle of their careers. I mean, they're head nurses, they're executives, they're running their own businesses. And wow, they can really get mentally drained to where even when they have downtime, they're zombies. They're just staring into space. I have experienced this myself. I was an HR director. It was a mentally draining job. And I would just come home and stare into space. I didn't have the TV on. I was just staring into space because you just need that mental time to process, to be able to think about anything that you want to do. Time budgeting is all about asking yourself questions. Does this add to my life? Is this something that's got to be done today or this week? Is this something I can combine with some other activity and accomplish both? Is this an activity that just needs to come off the list, that doesn't even need doing, or could be done by someone else? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself about every single thing you're doing. If you're one of those people that's used to working a lot of overtime, or you have a job that's salaried and you work a lot of hours, ask yourself, is that adding to your life? Is that truly adding to your career? A lot of times it's not. And if you disappear tomorrow, even though you're working 10 hours a day, the next person they hire works 8 to 5 and gets just as much done. Working more hours does not make you more productive. This is a truth that has been played out in study after study. Working more does not make you better. It makes you more tired. You can actually do more in less time if you're not tired. And that's true in every area of life. So it is all about paring back what you have to do and doing those things efficiently, and then eliminating those things that are not essential and not vital. The whole idea of creating a better life for yourself has nothing to do with adding more stuff. It has everything to do with choosing carefully those things that add joy to your life. If you've enjoyed this video, please click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.